Hi everyone, welcome back to Find Me in a Book. Today we are talking about a series that the first book has been in my Kindle for quite a while. I want to say 6 to 8 months. I'm not sure when it was released. I want to say within the past year. It's been in there for a little bit, and I see the cover. It's always caught my eye. I just never sat down and read it because there's all these other books that I wanted to read. So last week or 2 weeks ago, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to read it. I've forgotten what it's about, forgotten the summary. Let's just sit down and read it. I was hooked within 5 chapters. And that's kind of how I gauge things. If I'm not hooked or enticed or intrigued within the first 10 chapters, I'm like, I don't know how this is going to be. Like, you've got to get me pretty quick. You got to hook me. And so within, 5 chapters, I was like, oh, this is interesting. The series that I'm talking about is the Bourbon Boys by Victoria Wilder. The first one is Bourbon and Lies. We've got Bourbon and Secrets and Bourbon and Proof. And all 3 of these are about a different brother and about this place in Kentucky. I don't know if it's like I think it's called a brewery, like they brew or distill, or I'm not sure the right term, their own bourbon. And I'm just going to call it the Bourbon Farm. And so this girl is in witness protection program. And it's like, okay, why is she there? What is she going through? The U.S. Marshal takes her to this bourbon farm with the oldest brother and is like, hey, we need her to lay low, stay with you. You know, please help me out here. And the older brother is like, okay, yeah, that's fine. The youngest brother, he was a cop. He was police for a while, and then he decided to retire back to the bourbon farm and help his brothers with and his grandpa with the whole business. And so he is very leery of her. He's very much like, why did you just appear? So he starts digging. Red flags come up with like the enemy people, and it's just it just hooks you. Like, the story was very much the same level as the romance, and then building the romance. There wasn't one that was more forefront than the other. It was a very good mixture. And so while they're building this relationship, you've got this plot line that runs through all 3 of the books, and they have different solutions for different problems throughout the 3 books. But just to it's intense, it's fun, it's different, it just had me. And the first book, especially, because you find out why she's in witness protection program and why and how she got the way she is, and someone's coming after her, and so he's got to protect her and the family, and it's just so good. And then we have the second book, which is Bourbon and Secrets, where the girl, she is a private investigator. And so she shows up in this town. She had grown up in this town, left, and then come back. And the brother, he's a single dad. He has 2 tween girls. He's so fun. He's so loving. And he's like, who's this girl? Actually, no. He knows the girl because he was the one that forced her out of the town because some things have happened. And he's like, leave, don't come back. And so she comes back and he's like, and so they start up, and the storyline still goes, like the general storyline, but then there's some little subplots that are going. And so you see how they come together and how she's undercover, and so good, which then leads to the third book, which is Bourbon and Proof. And it's about the oldest brother, and he's the really grumpy, he's the really gruff, he's the really responsible one. He's doing under the desk deals because he's got to protect his family, and he's got to get business, and it just is so good. And the girl, her dad is kind of the evil guy throughout all these books, but she's best friends with this family. And so just to see those 2 bicker so much throughout their lives, and then all of a sudden it's marriage of convenience. We've got all the tropes. We have just all the different forbidden romance, the tension, like all three of these books, equally the plot as good as the romance. The romance does get spicier as the books go on. It doesn't distract from the plot, from the stories that are going on. You have just this whole family that you start to fall in love with. And this series seriously is one of my favorites. Like, I am recommending it to so many people. I'm recommending it to you, obviously, because it's a complete series, and the men are gruff and just, you know, the type where they're obsessed with the women, but it's also like a will they, won't they, and so good. Like, it makes me want to read even more from Victoria Wilder. I want to say that she has some other series, or maybe I'm imagining things. I didn't look right before this, but she's got it. Like, I was intrigued from the very beginning. Actually, I take it back. She has a series before this because there are some cameos, I want to say. Is it this series that I'm thinking about? That she has, like, Colorado... I don't know. Maybe it is this series. I'll put it up on the screen if there is another series, because maybe I'm thinking of something else. But this book, so good. And you learn about bourbon. Like, I know nothing about alcohol, really. And so to read these books that they're actually kind of a little bit educational of how things work on, like, one of these breweries, I loved it. It had everything. So I highly recommend the Bourbon Boys, and you could read them as in like standalones, but it doesn't really work. Like, you kind of have to read the first one to get like the background of the plot and everything. And you just get interested in the whole family that, like, why would you not want to read all three books? And then at the end, yeah, I feel like you have to read the first book to read the third book. The second book, I guess you don't have to read it, but that's what I'm saying. You got to read all three, because all three are just solid, solid books. And yeah, the plot, the romance, the tension, just all of it is so, so good. And there's twists and turns throughout all three of them that it just leaves you guessing. I highly recommend that you pick up this series. It's just 3 books. Like, it's so good. And I feel like I'm not hearing about this at all. Like, I'm not hearing about the author. I'm not hearing about this series. It needs to be more hyped, because all 3, so, so good. Anyways, I know I think I was supposed to review Bride this week. Obviously, I haven't started. Actually, I take that back. I think I've read like 5 chapters. But all these other series that just popped up out of nowhere, and recommendations that I read them so quickly. There's another series that I just finished. I think it has like 7 books, but I only read 3 of them. So good as well, which is kind of, they're more on they were CIA, and now they're kind of like hired assassins, kind of on that realm. And so I'm going to talk about that series soon. Highly recommend you pick up the series. Please like, subscribe, follow, all the good things. Leave me a note if you have read this series, or if there's another series that it kind of like sparked your memory that you want me to read. I love just like, if they're secret agents, if they're undercover, if they're cops, if they're just like in military. I'm very intrigued by that side of the subgenre. So definitely put recommendations if you have them. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.